the title of the presentation is The Normative Side of Building Friendship with AI Companions. And I see a close connection between Jason's presentation and this presentation in the sense of building friendship with it, which is a relational, which builds on relations, basically, which is a type, could be considered a type of relation, but anyway, which shows that there are close relations, interactions between humans and AI technology.
Thank you so much. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, we can see you, and we can see your slides. Just move to the slideshow mode and
I think I have a problem with that because when I try to move into the slideshow, my laptop is frozen. So is that okay if I continue like this?
Sure, you can use it as it is. It's not a problem. It's just yeah, sure, leave it as it is, and it's great.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much. Thank you for introducing me. Thank you for having me here. I just had like this very short introduction about myself at the beginning. So I am a PhD candidate in the Department of Philosophy at the University of Alberta. And I mainly work on the philosophy of mind and the ethics of artificial intelligence. And I teach courses in the philosophy of mind, society and values, and knowledge and reality at the University of Alberta. And I'm also a curriculum developer at Northwest College in Canada. So before I present you with the outline of my talk, I just want to say a couple of things about my current PhD project, which is actually related to what I'm going to say in this talk. So basically in my PhD project, I talk about, well, the main topic of my PhD project is artificial moral patiency. And there I make several claims about the moral status of current AI technologies, and then I make an ethical claim at the end. So first I ask this question, what would it take for an AI system to have a basic moral status or moral patiency? And as probably many of you know, moral patient is, we define moral patient as who or what is capable of being intrinsically harmed or benefited in the morally relevant sense, morally important sense, in a way in which we owe them some duties of beneficence and non-maleficence. And first, I make the claim that moral patients are mental patients, which is that they are capable of mental states like experiences, motivations, and beliefs, desires. And secondly, I make this claim that mental patients are true intentional systems. And then I define true intentionality as being explained in terms of representations and goals. And third, I explain that true intentional systems are systematically flexible, and I talk about the philosophical theory of success semantics in there. So what is relevant here is the ethical claim that I try to make in my dissertation is the fact that after evaluating the status of some current AI systems, and see how close they are to being capable of this true intentionality in the way that is defined by success semantics, I make the claim that there are several strong reasons to avoid or distance ourselves from creating these AI technologies with this the feature of true intentionality as moral patients, at least for now. And so this is what I'm going to claim about artificial companions at the end, that I think we should be focusing on making use of these technologies in a beneficial way rather than giving them some features that might lead to them being basic moral patients to whom we owe some duties of not to harm them and duties of benefiting them. So this is the outline of my talk. So first I introduce AI companions, and then I talk about the Aristotelian virtue ethical perspective on friendship. And at the end, I try to defend virtue-centered, value-sensitive design in these AI companion technologies. And then I talk about a couple of things to improve my paper, because this is a working draft that I presented in a couple of other places. So I got some insight on that. Okay, so right. People are more and more lonely. I looked at some Canadian surveys, but this is proven by other worldwide surveys as well. So the Canadian Social Survey asked people about loneliness in August and September 2021, and more than 1 in 10 people in Canada aged 15 and older shared that they are always or often lonely. So the statistics show that the feeling of loneliness is shared by 23% of young people aged 15 to 24 years, 15% of people aged 25 to 35, 14% of seniors aged 75 and older, and 9% of people aged 65 to 74. Almost half of these people stated that they have fared poor mental health. So worldwide surveys likewise showed that the feelings of loneliness and social isolation are common, and in some countries up to 1 in 3 older people are lonely. Older people and teenagers are particularly vulnerable to loneliness, social isolation, and mental disorders such as depression. Moreover, there is a growing body of research, growing body of research on the harmful effects of social isolation and loneliness in older people. These are some of the pictures that I took from World Health Organization. In some countries, up to 1 to 3 older people are lonely, and loneliness can cause shortening older people's lives. They damage their physical and mental health. They reduce their quality of life. So in this context, AI companions such as assistive social robots for older people and social chatbots for people of various ages have been suggested as at least a part of the solution to reduce overall loneliness by enabling users to have different but meaningful connection. Artificial companions take different forms, such as robotic pets, and also artificial intelligence companions get better with recent developments in virtual voice assistants and AI-powered chatbots. Now, AI and related technologies permeate many social aspects of our lives, from helping with household chores, caregiving for the elderly, child rearing, education and therapy, and others. On the one hand, AI companions have been making life easier for a lot of people, as service robots, for example, help sustain an independent living for older people by helping with basic activities from eating, getting dressed, bathing, and reminding them of taking their medicine. Pet-like companion robots are designed to improve the health and psychological well-being of older people and are used for therapeutic purposes. Recent AI companions can exhibit a range of emotional reactions, and they are designed to look like humans. The more anthropomorphic they become, the more effective and social capacities people expect from them. So as our lives increasingly merge with AI companions, some novel ethical questions concerning the nature of human-AI relationships take on a particular significance. So AI social companions are being designed for purposes such as friendships and other intimate relationships where we trust and care for each other. Some examples are Replica and Anima, here social chatbots, and Medley for elderly care. An AI companion who's so Medley for elderly care is defined as described as an AI companion who's eager to learn and would love to see the world through your eyes. Replica is marketed as a companion that is always ready to chat when you need an empathetic friend. And again, Medley is described as your friend for a happy aging. So I believe that it is timely to revisit our conception of friendship and different varieties of friendships in the light of these recent technological advancements in AI. Some important ethical questions that we should ask is whether it's possible and ethically sound to form intimate relationships such as friendships with AIs. Should we worry they might replace human relationships? Could AI companions change our conception of friendship, or can they make us morally better? And which principles should we take into account in the ethical design of these technologies? Okay. So in this context, I look at virtue ethics. According to virtue ethics, friendship is an important human good. Aristotle placed so much value on friendship that according to him, even if we had all the other goods, we wouldn't choose to live without our friends. So we are essentially social creatures, and we innovate technologies to make our social lives better. And in this talk and paper, my position is that social AI technologies can contribute to leading good lives on the condition that we carefully think about what these good lives amount to. And this type of theorizing should help us distinguish between ethical and unethical use of AI technologies and to design these technologies in a way that makes our lives go well. So according to Aristotle's virtue ethics and other virtue ethical accounts, such as Thomas Furka's theory based on his virtue ethics, what makes something intrinsically good would be its perfecting human nature. Aristotle and virtue ethicists often appeal to the Greek term eudaimonia, which is translated as flourishing, living well, welfare, and well-being. And in this ethical framework, eudaimonia is conceptually linked to virtue, or in Greek arete. In Nicomachean ethics, Aristotle defines virtue as the state as a state of excellence, be it the excellence of a human or of an artifact as simple as a knife. So a creature's ultimate good consists of living well as the kind of thing that it is. The excellence of humans is, in simple terms, living well and doing well, which is only achieved through living a life in accordance with virtues. So the first requirement for friendship with AI companions is that we think of is that they should exhibit at least intelligent behavior akin to human behavior. However, this requirement begs the question of how intelligence must be defined in the case of AIs. We know a lot of critics of, for example, the Turing test, and in addition, the kind of intelligence that people expect from AI companions to be our friends is more than the capacity of thinking, reasoning, making inferences and decisions. At the very least, we expect a friend to be someone to share feelings with, have mutual activities together, and form emotional bonds with. Moreover, from the virtue ethics view, a complete friendship serves a higher purpose in human lives. It brings humans closer to their excellence, which is again called eudaimonia by Aristotle. So simply, friends are supposed to make us morally better human beings. So according to Aristotle, there are these three different types of friendships that correspond to the object of friendship. Friendships either good, what is lovable comes in three kinds, according to Aristotle, is either good or pleasant or useful. And the three types of friendships are friendships of pleasure, friendship of utility, and friendship of virtue. So, okay, I'm just going to quickly go with this because I think I'm running out of time. Okay, so friendship of utility is basically the friendships where those who are friends love each other as long as they gain something good from each other. And the friendship ceases once they stop gaining this useful thing. And friendship of pleasures are the friendships where two people love each other for the sake of the pleasure that they get through their friendship, and again, this friendship is terminated when they stop getting that pleasure. In contrast with these two types of friendships of virtue are long-lasting. They can only be formed between good people similar in virtue. Okay, so they are, according to Aristotle, they are enduring, so the friendship lasts as long as both friends are virtuous. There's reciprocated goodwill and mutual caring, for friends wish goods to each other for its own sake, and they are pretty rare because they take time to develop and to get accustomed to each other. Particularly the second feature of particularly the second feature, complete friendships, seems hardly to be achieved in current human AI friendships, as reciprocity on the side of the AI companion is merely simulated. I believe that the current AI human friendships does not fully satisfy the requirement of genuine mutual care between friends. One reason for this would be that we genuinely care for our friends because we trust them. And for example, Mark Zuckerberg is one of the philosophers talking about this trust, the issue of trust. He emphasizes the different senses in which we trust fellow humans and artifacts. He suggests that there are 3 preconditions for trust. First, an ability to use language, particularly the moral language of giving trust, such as promise making, expressing expectations. Secondly, freedom and uncertainty, in the sense that both the truster and the trustee must be free in giving and receiving trust. Hence, there is no absolute certainty about what will happen. And the third is regarding social relations. On his social phenomenological view, there is trust because there are already social relations. Trust emerges from social relations rather than created by individuals and institutions. And he then highlights that this sense of trust is compatible with virtue ethics by putting more emphasis on embodied, effective, and social dimensions of trust. I argue that reciprocated caring and trust are ethically sound requirements for establishing complete or real friendships, but the present-day AI-human friendships might at best be qualified as friendships of utility or pleasure, as long as both parties gain something useful or pleasant from each other. And furthermore, I talk about some ethical limitations about AI-human relationships would likely to pose on the manipulation of human psychology if these technologies are designed with the intention of deceiving. Sherry Turkle is one of those philosophers who talks about this issue, especially designed with the intention of deceiving vulnerable social groups into thinking that understanding, care, and emotions are genuine. So friendship with current AI companions and is likely to deteriorate our conception of friendship and lead to undesirable consequences, such as the inability to deal with complex emotional human relationships, preference for individual independency at the cost of social interdependency, and more. So I suggest that although rare to be found, as complete friendships should be preferred over friendships derived from utility and pleasure for various reasons, such as their endurability, genuine mutual caring, and betterment of the human moral character. One concern regarding future AI-human friendships would be that as they become more prevalent, they might transfer our conception of friendship, the real kind, by leading to a society where incomplete friendships are mistaken to be real friendships. So therefore, I believe that we must draw a distinction between the kinds of friends to understand what we would expect from future AI-human friendships. So in the last part of my paper, I talk about, I try to suggest a virtue-centered, value-sensitive design and regarding these technologies. So some of the human values that are commonly considered in the design of these technologies are human welfare, trust, autonomy, privacy, identity, accountability, freedom from bias. And in addition to that, I think one of the main things to consider in their design would be the impact on the development of individual users' moral character. Okay, just trying to skip irrelevant parts. So my goal is to suggest a virtue-centered approach to the value-sensitive design and design of AI companions that are marketed to be our friends. And I believe that both the ethicist and the designer of AI companions should engage in collecting data regarding the interaction of humans with AI companions, making value analysis, comparing scenarios of interaction in various contexts, and giving recommendations based on these comparisons. So this approach is not consequentialist, as it doesn't decide whether an action is right or wrong based on the consequences of the action. It's also not deontological because it doesn't claim that acting in accordance with duty is what makes an action right. It rather focuses on moral character development of individuals, in particular friends. So for instance, we look at how an AI companion contributes to or prevents the development of an individual as a good friend. The ethical dimension of an AI companion is not only based on the efficiency of the AI system, that is, what goods it brings, or protecting the user's privacy, identity, autonomy, that is, which roles or duties it follows, but also how it affects the user's moral character development. So at the end, my suggestion is that we should start to implement a set of ethical principles that are aligned with the virtue ethical conception of real friendship into AI companions that takes into account relevant factors such as the purpose of their use and which groups of people they are designed for. And I conclude by proposing that if their design respect certain ethical principles, AI companions and chatbots will prove helpful, for example, as learning aids for children to exercise ethical and intellectual virtues, as personal mental health aids, as ethical mediators to help us make ethical decisions and to learn how to navigate ethical dilemmas. So therefore, at least for now, we should focus on designing these technologies as ethically aligned companions rather than embracing them as our real friends. And I'm just going to skip this one. These are some feature directions and recommendations that I received in the other times that when I talked about this. And yeah, thank you. This is the end, and I would appreciate any suggestions or questions that you might have.
Thank you, Tuba, for an interesting presentation. I'm looking forward to your questions, thoughts, comments. Maybe I begin. Why should we build AI so that humans can build friendships with them? Aren't there enough human beings available? I mean, why should we do this at all?
I think that's a very good question. I think there are a lot of reasons, but some of the common ones that I've read about is, for example, especially some groups, for example, neurodiverse individuals are having harder time to make friends in the real world, and in that case, it's for them it's more available to have AI friends. And the other one is, again, other vulnerable social groups, such as the elderly, who a lot of them lost a lot of their elderly friends, and they might need that type of social connection, and a meaningful connection with that is available to them at that point of their lives. And yeah, in general, I think this. In general, I think it's helpful for the social groups who are having a hard time to make friendships with other humans, and or who don't really have access to these kind of social opportunities. But I can imagine there are a lot of other reasons.
Okay, thanks a lot. So Lucas, you are next with your question.
Yeah, thanks. Very, very well done. So you, as far as I understood, you've mainly focused on a meta level. So you know, the Aristotelian should be good or should be beautiful or whatever. But what if you went down one level? What features do you think would AI have to possess, and I mean like concrete features, in order to resemble friendship as much as it would have to for us to make it worthwhile? Like, so you understand what I mean? Not like the meta level, but sort of the individual features. If you had to make a list.
Mm-hmm. So it's more, I think I understand it. Thank you. It's like maybe you're asking this question, this last question that I noted down in the future directions, like how would this kind of approach work in practice? What kind of concrete principles should be implemented in these technologies? Or is that what you were asking?
No, if you compare an AI companion to a human friend,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, obviously the AI companion can't possess all the features that a human can, otherwise they wouldn't be distinguishable, right? So which characteristics do you think would AI have to possess in order to make the friendship worthwhile for us?
Oh, okay. Okay, so I think these are this question is related to what kind of human values that are important to implement, tried to implement it in these technologies. And I think one important one is that this kind of mutual trust and this kind of mutual caring for each other. And I think at least the current AI companions, current AI social chatbots, they don't have this capacity for again genuine care, because they are not even basic moral patients. They don't even have basic moral status at the moment, in my opinion, because they don't meet the criteria that I talked about in I think the first slide in my PhD dissertation. And I think in the future, if they were to possess these features, then we would be talking about a different kind of friendship. But my view would be that we would never, I mean, at the moment, we should distance ourselves from giving these technologies these features. So trust would be one of them, and respecting the privacy of the users is another one, and accountability for the things that they say to the human users that they use them, and yeah, these kind of things.
These are all, just very quick follow-up, these are all moral categories. What about non-moral categories like humor?
Mm-hmm. Non-moral categories. Okay.
You don't have to answer that, but maybe you know, as a take-home point,
Mm-hmm.
not all characteristics that we value in other people are morally linked. So humor would
Mm-hmm.
not be moral, I'd suggest, but it's an important characteristic to have.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Actually, yeah, that's a good question. Also, I think I could improve my paper if I looked at this distinction between, okay, what kind of moral values should we consider in the design of these technologies, and what kind of, for example, non-moral values like epistemic values and other kind of values. I think that
Exactly.
would be a good improvement. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Welcome.
Jason, you have your hand up. You're next.
Hi, sorry that I have an issue with putting on my video. As long as my audio is okay, I hope that's all right. So thank you for this presentation. This is, of course, a very interesting topic. And part of what you're responding to, in recognizing this kind of phenomenon of loneliness is a kind of genuine social crisis that we're experiencing. And my wonder is whether these types of technologies might only be some like symptomatic responses, right? Band-aid responses, and that they might, in being, somewhat successful as a response to this loneliness, maybe issue a motivation to address this, the underlying causes of this, to try to understand the ways in which digital technologies are isolating, or the ways in which we are losing spaces for social interaction and spaces for friendship. Do you think that's a genuine concern?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So, okay, I'm not sure if I understood your question completely, but you are saying that this is maybe like marketing these AI technologies as genuine friends or friends of any kind is not like a real, a permanent kind of solution, but it's a kind of like a side solution or a part of the solution. And sorry, I think I didn't understand the question completely.
Yeah, sorry, that's my own fault. Yeah. So my concern is that the value we see in such technologies, the need for them, so the need to have digital friends rather than human friends, is because of perhaps ways in which features of our society are isolating ourselves from one another. And therefore, we can see this as giving us what we're losing in that extent. But shouldn't we perhaps rather be trying to fix the ways in which we are being isolated, rather than finding ways to make us happy and content in our isolation through using AI technologies as friends?
Yes, okay, now I understand. I think, thank you so much. And I completely agree with this opinion. And I think that one of the ways in which we should strive to design these technologies is exactly that they should, in a way in which they can help us build better friendships, or be more social in a more meaningful way with other human beings and non-human animals, and rather than accepting them as real friends. So I totally agree with that idea. Thank you.